Have you ever heard of a single piece of software causing a seismic shock across an entire industry? I'm not talking about a company, not a market crash, but just one app. Okay, let's get into it because this is a wild story. It's got corporate giants, billion-dollar betrayals, and some new tech that could seriously change how we all work. $285 billion. Just let that number sink in for a second. In just a few days, that's how much value was wiped clean off the software market. I mean, that is a truly staggering number. So you have to ask, what happened? What on earth could cause investors to panic on that kind of massive scale? Was it some huge security breach, a corporate failure? Well, the answer is actually a lot simpler and honestly way more profound. Yeah, it was just the launch of a new AI app. It's from a company called Anthropic, and the app's name is Claude Cowork. This one app is the catalyst for this entire story, and it really represents a fundamental shift in what we even thought software could do.
And this is where we bring in our first major player, Microsoft. See, you can't really tell the story of Claude Cowork without talking about Microsoft's surprising and, frankly, incredibly fast pivot towards a new AI partner. It's an alliance that is just completely reshaping the industry.
So the big news that really kicked this whole thing off was the app's arrival on Windows. And you have to understand, this is a huge deal. By launching on Windows, Claude Cowork instantly got access to about 70% of all desktop computers out there. It put this powerful new tool right in the middle of the corporate world's ecosystem. You know, what's really wild here is just the speed of it all. I mean, look at this timeline. In just a few short months, they went from announcing a partnership to Microsoft actively pushing its own employees to use Anthropic's tools and then making Anthropic's best model available to its biggest customers. This is not some slow, cautious partnership. This is an aggressive, full-speed-ahead alliance. And this is not just some casual collaboration either. We are talking about serious, serious money. Anthropic has committed to buying $30 billion worth of cloud services from Microsoft. And in return, Microsoft is spending almost $500 million a year on Anthropic's tech. This is a deep, financially tangled-up relationship. And this is where it gets really interesting. Microsoft is actually treating sales of Anthropic's AI as if they were its own products. Their own salespeople get these same rewards for pushing Claude as they do for something that was built in-house at Microsoft. That is so unusual, and it just goes to show you how central Anthropic has become to Microsoft's entire strategy. But of course, this brings up a huge question, right? Because you can't talk about Microsoft and AI without mentioning their other, very famous partner. This cozy new relationship with Anthropic has to be creating a pretty awkward situation for OpenAI, which, you'll remember, got a massive $13 billion investment from Microsoft. For years, the story was so simple. Microsoft and OpenAI. They were the power couple of the AI world, the foundational partners. But now? Well, now there's a new challenger in the mix. Anthropic isn't just a backup plan anymore. It's a direct competitor that Microsoft is actively using. So here's the crucial point. This isn't just about having options for Microsoft. They are making a very pragmatic, performance-based choice. They're actively using Anthropic's models inside their own core products, like Microsoft 365, whenever Claude just happens to be better at a specific task than what OpenAI is offering. The new challenger is already winning battles. Okay, so we've covered the corporate drama, but what is this disruptive app Claude Cowork actually doing? Let's get into the technology itself, because this is the engine that's driving that $285 billion market shock. All right, first, we need to wrap our heads around a key term. AI agent. Now, this is not just another chatbot. A chatbot, it responds to one prompt at a time. An AI agent, like Cowork, can understand a complex goal, create a whole multi-step plan to get it done, and then actually execute that plan across different programs and files on your computer. It's that ability to act, not just respond, that makes it so different and so much more powerful. So, for example, you could ask it to, say, create a sales report for last quarter. The agent would then scan your project folders for the right files, it would connect to your company's CRM to pull the latest sales numbers, open a spreadsheet to analyze all that data, and then draft a full report summarizing everything it found. It does the whole workflow, not just one little piece of it. Of course, giving an AI this much access to your computer raises some pretty huge security questions. Anthropic's defense, and you can see it here from their head of Claude Code, is that you are in control.
The software runs in its own little bubble, and it can only access the specific folders you give it permission to see. But then you see this. This is a direct quote from the app's own disclaimer for its web browsing feature. It's a really stark warning about how malicious code on websites could hijack the agent and cause some serious damage. It just perfectly captures that tension between incredible convenience and some very real risk.
So let's zoom back out. With this powerful, kind of risky new tool now widely available, we can start to see how it triggered nothing short of an existential crisis for the traditional software industry. I mean, think about it. Every one of these bullet points here could be a different multi-billion-dollar software market. Project management, data analysis, you name it. There are entire companies that exist to do just one of these things. And now, a single AI agent is promising to do a little bit of all of them, just by understanding a simple request. And this right here, this is the core fear that spooked Wall Street. Why would a company pay for 5 different specialized software tools if they can just pay for one AI agent that can do the most important parts of all of them? That is the threat that could make entire product categories just obsolete. And the launch on Windows is really the key. As this chart makes pretty clear, Windows just dominates the corporate world. Getting Cowork onto this platform was the final step needed to put this existential threat right in front of the enterprise customers who spend billions and billions on software every year. And look, this isn't just a theoretical threat for someday in the future. Major companies are already on board. We're talking giants like Adobe and the global law firm Dentons. They're already publicly talking about how they're integrating Anthropic's AI into their most critical business operations. So the adoption is happening right now. And at a starting price of around $20 a month, it's positioned as an affordable premium tool. I mean, when you compare that to the thousands of dollars companies spend on traditional software licenses, this is a really easy calculation for a lot of them. A new front in the battle for the future of work has officially opened. Which really brings us to the final thought. The corporate drama and the market panic, it's all fascinating, but the real story is what happens next. The technology is here. So if this tool landed on your desktop tomorrow, what would be the very first tedious, time-consuming, or complex task you would hand over to your new AI coworker?